March 2003. The opening weeks of the Iraq invasion. Inside a high-tech, air-conditioned U.S. Joint Command Center in Doha, a high-value Iraqi target is spotted moving through the Anbar Desert. American generals immediately spring into action. Plans are drawn, F-16s are prepped on the tarmac, and elite helicopter units are briefed. Total estimated time to launch the mission? 4 to 6 hours, but 300 kilometers away. Out in the scorching desert heat, a small team of British SAS operators hears the exact same radio chatter. They don't call a committee meeting. They don't wait for a general's signature. They just turn their car keys by the time the American helicopters finally lift off the ground. The British SAS has already captured the target, bagged his head, and vanished into the dust. This is the untold story of how the brutal simplicity of British warfare completely outpaced the multi-billion-dollar American military machine. American military doctrine is built on overwhelming power and flawless planning. When the intelligence on the Iraqi target dropped at dawn, the U.S. command structure did what it does best: bureaucracy. They calculated fuel ranges, conducted risk assessments, and sent requests up the chain of command. To them, a perfect plan executed later was the professional way to fight. But the British SAS? They operate on a completely different philosophy. To them, a good plan executed right now is always superior to a perfect plan executed late, just 23 kilometers away from the target. A 4-man SAS patrol was sitting in weathered, unarmored Land Rover Defenders. These vehicles didn't have high-tech missile systems or a thick composite armor. They looked like they belonged on a safari, not a battlefield. But they were loaded with hundreds of rounds of ammunition, 70 liters of water, and 4 men who had survived the most brutal selection course on Earth. While American colonels were still arguing in air-conditioned tents about which helicopter squadron to deploy, the SAS Land Rovers were already tearing through the desert at breakneck speeds. They knew that in mobile warfare, speed is your only real armor. If you move faster than the enemy can think, you win. They reached the intercept point in less than an hour. When the target's vehicle appeared on the horizon, the SAS executed a textbook immediate action drill. The Land Rovers roared out of the dust, swerving into a tight blocking position. Heavy machine guns were trained directly on the windshield. There was no negotiation, no hesitation. The Iraqi target, staring down the barrels of the world's most elite shadow operators, realized resistance was suicide. He raised his hands. In less than 3 minutes, he was handcuffed. A black hood was placed over his head, and he was thrown into the back of a Land Rover. The ghosts of the desert vanished before the dust could even settle. When the American task force finally arrived at the coordinates hours later, the desert was empty. The radio crackled again. The British SAS quietly notified Joint Command that the tactical objective was already complete. Target was secured. The reaction at U.S. headquarters wasn't angered. It was pure shock. The Americans realized that all their billions of dollars in technology and layers of command had been utterly defeated by 4 guys in a modified Land Rover who were given the autonomy to make their own choices. This single, classified engagement in March 2003 changed the future of special operations forever. In the years that followed, the U.S. military slowly dismantled its rigid command structure for elite units, giving American operators the same radical freedom that the British used to humiliate them in the Iraqi desert. Who do you think has the better approach to warfare? The overwhelming tech of the U.S. or the raw speed of the British SAS? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. And check out our Patreon in the description for uncensored military files. See you in the next Shadow Op.